Sup you guys, ASD Classified here, and I'm gonna do a review of episode 8 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers, The Cybergate Opens. I mean, it opened for all of like 2 seconds, but okay, the Cybergate opened, alright? So in this episode, Nate becomes the Gold Ranger, and we also get a Silver Ranger, alright. So now we have 5 Rangers, yay, woo. I like the episode, by the way. Let me just get that out of the way right now. I like the episode. It gives me a lot to think about, and then I'm very annoyed that we're going on a hiatus now. Like, I'm kind of sick of this. I'm sick of this 8 episodes and go on a hiatus. For what? But whatever, okay. I'm gonna actually miss Beast Morphers during this hiatus, and I haven't missed a Power Ranger season during the hiatus in a very... very long time, man. Like, yeah, I haven't cared about any of the other hiatuses, but yeah, I like Beast Morphers overall, so like, I don't want y'all to leave me so soon, but whatever. Okay, this episode so Nate was working on new Ranger powers, although he told the other Rangers that, hey, I'm just working on a new weapon of sorts, but he had to have been already working on new Ranger powers. At least that's what I'm thinking, right? He just didn't tell them, right? So he needed new animal DNA for these Ranger powers. And so he went to the woods, but he decided to use like insect DNA. And I'm kind of wondering why the switch, aside from what they did in Go Busters. But like, why the switch in Beast Morphers though? Like, why would you go from using all this animal DNA to, hey, let me just pick some insects now? I wish they would have had like a line in this episode, just like a simple line, like being like, somebody asked him, hey, why are you using like beetle and like mantis DNA? Why can't you like find some other animal? And he'd be like, well, I created all this shit. I can actually do whatever the fuck I want. So thank you for your input. But yeah, I want to use insects. Like, it could have been just that simple, right? Nate made all this shit. He can change his mind if he wants to. I just wish it would have been like a dialogue in the episode, like, because it is like a switch. It's a pretty weird switch to go from like these regular ass animals to, oh, let me use some bugs now. Right. I did love the fact that when the Rangers were in the woods collecting the insect DNA, and Zora was like, hey, I got a spider, you want to use this? He's like, hell no. Hell no, I'm not using a spider. I'm like, yes, Nate, because I hate spiders too, man. Arachnophobia is real. I fucking hate spiders. Fuck spiders forever. But yeah, Nate decided to use, I think it was a beetle and a mantis for the DNA. And the mantis DNA is going to be applied to the Gold Ranger powers, the beetle to the Silver Ranger powers. So yeah, and a lot of people have been saying like, well, the Gold Ranger powers were not based on a mantis in the Sentai version. Yeah, I don't really care about that. But, that's not something that I care about. But when it comes to this mantis DNA, because first of all, this was a change that they didn't have to do. I don't even know why y'all decided to use mantis DNA instead, just because mantis insects look cool, I guess. Because they do look cool. I like how they look. But anyway, they decided to go with this. My thing is, if you're going to use a mantis for like insect DNA, right, that's going to be applied to the Ranger, I feel like you should be also using like mantis kung fu in like the fight scenes. That's just me personally, and I highly doubt we're gonna get that, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, if you're gonna apply mantis DNA to the Gold Ranger, he should be fighting like a mantis. But so the actual plot of this episode, the villains. So Scrozzle has completed his Cybergate to bring Evox to our dimension, but Evox is going to need a robot body, right? But Scrozzle isn't smart enough to build a robot body that can hold all the Evox's data or whatever. But Nate is smart enough, because Nate he's a child genius, and he's created all this robot technology. He made the Beast Bots, you know? So he has the avatars kidnap Nate, and the avatars just like, oh, Nate, oh yeah, he's small and scrawny, that'll be easy to do or whatever. So they do kidnap Nate. And I just find it funny with all the little drama that's going on right now in the Power Ranger fandom with certain actors and shit. It was like, the avatars are really over here acting like Blake Foster in this episode. Like, no lie, they are definitely Blake Foster in this episode. But moving on from that, the villains, they kidnap Nate. They're like, you're gonna build this robot for Evox. So Nate, he's building the robot, but he's plotting his escape like the entire time, right? So he makes the robot, the cyber gate opens, Nate like pulls out a laser and like shoots the cyber gate so it closes on Evox so he doesn't come to our dimension. Then he like reprograms the cyber gate so it turns him into a Power Ranger. Nate becomes the Gold Ranger in this episode. But the cyber gate also turns that robot he made into a Ranger as well, the Silver Ranger. And I like the Silver Ranger. From what I've seen so far, I do like him. He's a cocky son of a bitch. And I like it in a good way, in an entertaining way. He's a cocky son of a bitch. You know, like Nate was like, wait a minute, you morphed? He like, I guess I did. I am amazing. I like this guy. Like, you know, the fight scenes with the Gold Ranger and the Silver Ranger, it was decent. I don't know what. I'll go ahead and say good. It was decent. Like, they fought the foot soldiers. They also fought the avatars briefly. I'm gonna come back to that. But yeah, I like what I've seen from our 2 new Rangers so far, right? And the Silver Ranger's voice, I don't know if I'm tripping or not, but it reminds me of Beamcaster from season 2. The Beamcaster monster. Okay, I know a lot of y'all probably don't even know who the hell I'm talking about, but there's a monster called Beamcaster in season 2. I think it was Lord Zed's waves. He mind controlled all the Power Rangers, and like the way he talked, like in like that radio jockey voice, Beamcaster on the air. It kind of reminds me. That's how a Silver Ranger kind of sounds, right? Am I tripping? Like, go back and watch that episode and tell me if I'm tripping or not. But yeah, we have our new Rangers, right? Coolio. So yeah, we have our new Ranger, right? And I just love how Nate didn't need anybody to save him. Like, he was in that predicament, he got kidnapped, but he found a way to escape on his own, right? He did everything he could to protect the world from Evox, and he escaped on his own, and he turned himself into a Power Ranger in order to do that. And bravo, sir. Bravo. I love Nate. He's fucking awesome. So, let me talk about what I didn't like in this episode. What I didn't like, as usual, the villains. More specifically, the avatars, man. Like, are you, like, this episode would have been way better if the villains were actually, like, a challenge, okay? Now, yes, the 3 main Rangers in this episode, they were getting their ass whooped by the monster today, most of the time. But yeah, that's great. But the avatars themselves, man, Nate, without any powers, pretty much, like, first of all, he ruined their entire plan. Like, without any powers, mind you. He had them knocked on their ass and everything. And when he got his powers, and with the Silver Ranger, like, they easily defeated the avatars, man. Easily. I just don't. And then Roxy had the audacity to say, like, how are they beating us? Are you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, a ham sandwich could beat y'all at this point. Like, who hasn't beaten the Avatar? What? How are they beating us? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What fights have y'all actually won? What? I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. I feel like the avatars should be like way more of a threat than they actually are. And because they're not, it really just brings the episode down. It just does. For me. I know I'm speaking just for me. A lot of y'all don't seem to care about how weak the avatars are, which is fine. But it just, I wish they were more of a threat. I wish they were. I wish they were. I don't mind Scrozzle. Like, Scrozzle is not a villain that needs to be a fighter, right? The danger from Scrozzle is his robot mind, right? Like, that's where the threat comes from him. But the avatars, their primary existence is the fact that they're supposed to be fighters, and they suck. They suck. I just wish that the fight between the avatars and the Gold and Silver Rangers, I wish that was just done better. It should have been like a really big, epic fight, but really they dispatched them in like a minute. So it's just, seriously, they did away with the avatars in a minute. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. So this episode, what would I rate it? I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I liked everything else. It's just, I don't know, it didn't like blow me away that much, but I don't know what it is. I feel like it's because Power Rangers is so old. Like, Power Rangers has been on the air for 26 fucking years. It's kind of like, I mean, it's another episode where we got an additional Ranger, and I mean, it didn't do anything too revolutionary on that front. We got another Ranger, and that was kind of it. I enjoyed it, but was I like super blown away and impressed? Not really. You know, one thing at the end of the episode, I think Scrozzle did mention the fact that they want to get the Silver Ranger back, right? Like, they want to get him back for Evox's body, and they might do it. Maybe when the show comes back, they might actually do that. So my theory of the Silver Ranger initially being evil might not be too wrong. Just saying, Evox might get that body back. And speaking of the Silver Ranger, at the end of the episode, they had to come up with a name for him, right? And the Silver Ranger was like, "Oh, you can call me badass motherfucker, Strong as Steel." And the Ranger's like, "We'll just call you Steel for short," right? And they also said the reason that Steel couldn't morph is because not only did he have that beetle DNA, but he also has human DNA. And the human DNA comes from Nate. And now, you know, they're like brothers now. And Nate has been whining about how he wants a brother, like, since he's been on the show. So, like, he finally has a brother in the Silver Ranger, in Steel. So, yeah, I thought that was dope at the end of the episode, too. So, yeah, there's things I like about this episode. It's just, it's a typical episode of Power Rangers. I don't know. I just wasn't, that's just me, man. 3 out of 5. So if you're watching this review, what did you think about episode 8 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was mud? Let me know in the comments. You could be so kind. Alright, later guys. Jump out the